Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Non-League podcast. This week we've got a lot to get on with, so we'll get straight into it and talk about the funding situation with the league. Anyone want to start on that?
I think it's sort of a bit of a issue they were sort of not expecting to have. They were sort of expecting to have it called off because of health issues, and now it's being called off because of funding. And that was meant to be all in the bag, secured. And now they've just sort of turned around and said, "Well, we're a bit screwed. If you're not a rich club, you're not going to survive unless you get a grant." George,
I personally believe that the way this is all planned out is ridiculous. How is it gone from having 3 votes to only having one vote on the table right now? You can't option two's off the table, and so is option one. I reckon the board has something to say. Should need to say something about this, and also I don't get how the DMCs are expecting DMCAs, whatever they're expecting clubs to be able to financially pay them back, because if they could financially afford to play without the loan, they would. So, like, just getting a loan, you can make it even worse for clubs. Like, how can they financially afford that? I don't get it. Like, we're in a worse situation we are now than we were in March of last year, I'd say. Dan?
What I would say about it is, this season has been one like no other. I believe that all clubs have only had games with one game with fans in. Sorry about that. And the fact that they're now completely taking off the grants option off the table, I think, is absolutely ludicrous. The loans won't work at all. Will?
the thing is, how are you going to expect any club that's just sitting in mid-table to want to fund basically that could kill their club all the way to the end of the season? You just can't. It's only going to be the top 7 who are going to want to fund it, and maybe some outside who think they can get playoffs. So unless there's no funding, the season will end, and that's certain.
George?
I personally believe that the season ends. I can't see it being voided. I don't know. I can just see the next 6 weeks at least we play in. I think clubs might have to pay us something, or something will happen. I can't see the season ending. I reckon the FA or something will help out. I just feel like the government, the way they've like gone away about this is ridiculous. I don't know how you can expect clubs to generally be afford to pay the loan back. I don't know why they can't just continue with the grants. It was working for every club. The games were being played. Dan?
If the season gets null and voided from here, I think it would be a huge injustice to sides like Torquay, even looking down the table at teams like Notts and Hartlepool, because we got told at the start of the season, we got promised that this season would end no matter what. If it gets voided now, I can't see a future for the National League itself, let alone. It's just ridiculous. Anyone else want to make any further points?
I reckon the season has to be ended. Like, it has to. Like, they can't just void it. I feel like that's just gonna cause a bad. That's gonna cause a bad relationship with the EFL going forward, because they're gonna want to finish their season. I just feel like they have to either do points per game. I reckon they have to try and get to 25 games. If they can do that, then do points per game then. Will?
Thing is, it's all selfish points. Everyone's going to think of themselves and only themselves. Like, everyone's just going to think to themselves, okay, where are we in the league? Does it make sense for us to have to continue the season? And in some cases, it's going to be yes, and in some cases, it's going to be no. But you see the 12 teams in the National League North, the highest placed one was 7th. And you can't really say it's very fair to the ones at the top who want to continue. But then you've got teams like Chester who are saying, well, if we don't get a grant, we won't continue, and that's that.
I just personally believe that they have to try and figure it out. That I feel like I'm just glad that our league haven't like refused to play, because at least now we're still getting games in, which could be beneficial in like down the line in like 4 weeks. Dan?
I just want to bring Josh in here. Obviously, Hampton and Richmond fan. National South has been suspended. Can you see any way that it will possibly restart this season?
It's a difficult one, really, because obviously you've got the 2 week break that's happened at the moment. If more teams start to get more cases of COVID, even though if it's not related to the funding, but then I can't see it starting again after the 2 weeks. But in regards to the funding, obviously a lot of the teams in it mainly voted for option 3 to suspend it temporarily. So it's hard to call whether you can see it concluding or not, or whether you'll be null and voided. But you just have to see what will happen in the next few weeks.
Fair enough, mate. Will?
I think it's crucial they get the season back up and running, because not only for financial purposes but for players as well. You might see a situation where the best players from the leagues north and south get loaned out to the National League, do really well, and then continue. I mean, already Moussa Diarra has moved from Havant back to Woking, and they said Doswell said the reason for that is because he's not getting any game time at Havant because they're not playing. And how many more players do you think are going to turn around and think, well, if a National League club wants me, I'm off and I'm not coming back?
Well, I just want to say, obviously today Ollie Bayliss, as many of you probably know if you've seen him on Twitter, a well-known, passionate non-league fan, released a tweet saying he asked for a freedom of information request on the DCMS's plans. If that comes through and it does end up that there's grants on the table, surely that's just got to be taken straight away, no?
I don't think there's any doubt that if there's grants on the table, they will take it, because it's going to cost less than furlough, and also it gives the streaming and stuff. It's going to make more money for the clubs as if they get a grant. But if they don't get a grant, it's not starting up again, the north and south, I don't think.
I personally believe like the season, I feel like the grants have to be put on the table, because how can the season continue honestly without the grants? That they have to come into play, because it's just going to cause so much more havoc between so many other teams, like our league, EFL.
So let's put it like this for a second. Say you were the owner of a team and it was only option 1, 2 or 3. Which one would you end up taking? Depending, say, if you were like Concord at the bottom end of the National League South, which option would you end up taking if the 3 options were still theoretically on the table?
It depends on your situation, really. It's so hard to tell unless you've got all the finances there and all of the issues with what your club's going through. But if I'm the Torquay chairman, I think, well, I've got to go for this. Surely we're top of the league. We might not be there next season. This is a one-off, maybe. So we've got to go, and we've got to basically try and plough our way through this season. Tom?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the worrying thing. If we did stop, we'd probably lose most of our top players, and same with all the other clubs, which is just really not fair, because we haven't had a chance to sort of play more of our games. And like,
I personally believe, right, like if the season's going to end, it won't be for like another month, because they're going to try everything they can to like make that the last resort. I just feel like I think clubs in our league right now can afford to like continue. Like I know money's tough, but actually I think clubs can still, apart from like maybe David and Barnett, can still afford to pay the players' wages. But like yeah, but I reckon only for about another 4 weeks, another month, then there could be start to have issues. But yeah, I'm just hoping the season continues for my benefit really, and for just because I love watching it on Saturdays. Dan?
What you've also got to put into perspective is the semi-professional sides in all three divisions. They need this because they're not earning as much. They haven't been in league football probably ever. So I get your point here, where you think a lot of clubs will survive on just paying players, but why should the semi-professional sides who can't afford to pay players be kicked out of the league for not being able to fulfil fixtures because they can't afford it? Why should they be kicked out?
No, I feel like they won't do a relegation. I can't see them relegating teams. Like that's just unfair because how I can't see North and South continuing at any circumstances because even if in 2 weeks they get money, they're still going to be like what four fixtures behind. Like because you're playing Tuesday, Saturday probably. Like for them, they're going to have to extend the season somehow. Or I can't see that continuing in my opinion. That's why I can't see them relegating anyone from the National League.
And also, if the North and South continues, they've still got to fulfil some of the teams who are still in the trophy, who've still got to fulfil their fixtures. It is a tough one, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, but like, you need to be positive. Hopefully, the National League works something out. It must be stressful for them as well, to be honest.
Oh, it definitely is. Although the board haven't done anything to help themselves, I think they're stressing out massively about this. Anyone got anything else to add on this subject while we're on about it? Will?
I think moving on to what we're going to talk about next, the FA Trophy and stuff.
Yeah.
It's odd because you've still got teams in the 7th tier in the FA Trophy who aren't playing any league games, and yet you've got them. I mean, sorry to bring this up, but Hornchurch knocking out Kings Lynn.
Thank you.
It's very hard for them as well.
Oh,
And
definitely. And you've also got. Sorry, you continue.
Yeah, what we got to remember is that they haven't had any money for ages, and they're still being asked to play in the trophy. And I mean, they're not getting the income they should be from it, and the prize money is pretty much pathetic as well. So that should have been scrapped, in my opinion. But if we wanted to get through the league games that much, the trophy wasn't really necessary, especially considering we haven't even played last year's final, which is just a shambles.
And it's not like it's not like Harrogate and our EFL team are going to be bothered about last year's FA Trophy final, are they? Let's get real here.
No.
Anyway, is that everything on this point? Anyone else got anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Yes,
right. Moving quickly on then. Obviously, big news of the week. Jim Gannon got the sack from Stockport. Anyone want to start that up?
I said last week, Stockport can't win the league or get promoted without him gone, so I'd say it's a good decision. But I've heard they're getting Brighton under 23 manager, which makes no sense to me. Maybe it'll be good for the youth, but I just shocking. I thought they'd get someone with experience if they want to get out of the league quick. What do you think, Tom?
I'm the opposite. I don't really think it was necessarily the right decision. I mean, he's not doing the best job with the group of players they brought in. But I mean, the manager of his experience, I think they should have stuck by him at least till the end of the season, or gave him a little bit longer because they were sort of starting to head in the right direction. And obviously, he's sort of a club legend. I mean, to do that, I mean, it's a bit harsh, really. I think, like, I wouldn't say bringing in a coach from Brighton is really the best next step. I think they should have gone for someone like maybe they were linked to John Askey. I mean, he's won the league with Macclesfield before. I think that would have been more sensible than going for an inexperienced coach. But it's obviously, I might be wrong. Depends to see how it goes, really. Could be a good decision.
Will?
I think the main thing Stockport fans are annoyed about, what you've seen everywhere, is about the reason they got rid of him is culture, when he is literally their culture. And that's the main issue. I don't think they'd have a problem if he was on a bad run or something, but it's such a lame excuse. Like if you want to reshape the club, then don't blame it on the manager's culture, who's done this much for you.
Yeah, and I
And
think it was a bit disrespectful to do it literally a week after, like, the anniversary of like how many years he's managed, and won it like 600 games or something.
But it's solely down to the board, isn't it? And they've sort of turned around and gone, well, we need to take a different direction.
I think personally it was planned because you know the rumours about West Ham. I thought I reckon they played better than they expected against West Ham. Then who did they play after that? When it wasn't it Solihull, and they lost. Who did they play in the last league game?
Dagenham, and they beat them 2-0.
Was that yesterday?
No, I'm talking about last Tuesday.
Who did they play after the West Ham game again? Was that Dagenham?
I think so, yeah. Because
I think they kept them. I thought they didn't. I thought they expected him to get slapped by West Ham, and they done well. I thought they could sack him then, but I reckon that's generally reading. Now, like, it's all making sense of all the rumours. If you know what I mean. Oh yeah, because actually they had Notts County, didn't they? That's what it is. So they had Notts County straight away after. And I thought they just been knocked out 2 cups, which I think they thought let's get with them now. But I just feel like, in a way, it's the right decision. But is the rumoured appointment, the right decision?
It's a bit risky, really.
Risky, but like considering they have a lot of money, maybe it'll work.
I think it's risky because they're getting an under-23s manager into what is effectively a full-time professional club. I think that is a very risky choice by them.
Yeah, and then the players they brought in are players with experience that have won this league before. So why not get a manager that's won this league before? It's a bit odd, really, to get someone inexperienced to coach experienced players at that level. I don't know. It seems a bit weird.
In my opinion, it doesn't really show the intent of like the club. Like, buying the players seems intent, but like you'd expect them with the money they have to go to someone like you've got experience. It just doesn't add up. Like the whole thing.
And also, what I want to say is, what I would say about this situation is, I was reading rumours that the players didn't want to play under him anymore. But if that was the case, surely the board would just tell the players to stick it and play for who they want in charge. What's the point of sacking him if that is the reason?
Yeah, I can't imagine it was a very popular decision from the players. I don't think they would have been very happy about it, really.
I think as well, you've got to remember that the person they're apparently bringing in is an under-23s coach. So it's going to be all about nice football, this nice brand of style of football. And I think, I haven't watched much of Stockport, but I get the feeling they're sort of not bad football, but like not all along the ground, like academy style. And I get the feeling the owner wants them to play like a brand of football.
Well, I've only watched them once this season, and obviously I was against West Ham, and I thought that was a very good performance given the conditions, especially against a very strong West Ham side, like Declan Rice in there and all that lot.
Yeah, they played some good stuff against us at our place. It was the passing was very good. I mean, it was sort of League 2 level probably play, but their finishing was quite poor. That's probably the only negative, really.
No, I just think it's a very poor decision by the board, really. I genuinely do.
We'll soon find out. It could be like a very good decision, and they just like go on a good run of form like Chesterfield have, but it's a massive risk. There's so many other managers around. Disappointment just doesn't make sense.
They're hoping to have him announced by Saturday's game, aren't they?
Yeah. It's just come out the blue. Like, you're gonna sack your manager. I to be fair to you, I didn't expect them to sack him, but I thought they needed to. But like,
I think they should at least
I just
given him the rest of
expected
the
a
season.
League Two and a League One manager, and they just gone for this guy. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, it's just okay.
Well, I'm not saying he would have gone for it, but you got likes of Ian Holloway, who's out of a job at the moment. He would be a perfect manager in the National League, in my opinion.
Especially with their money, yeah.
I think he'd get him promoted, not this season, but next season, given half a chance.
It sounds like it's been in the pipeline a while. Guy, you don't just turn around and suddenly say, "I want Brighton under 23s manager," do you? There's a lot of planning that goes into it.
Oh, that statement's been in the admin's draft for quite a while now.
It's just the way it's all happened as well. Like, it just shocked me. It shocked me because it's a club like Stockport who are going for promotion. Like, it just baffles me. But we'll see what happens.
Very poor decision. Anyway, anyone else got anything to add?
Let's move on to yesterday's game.
So, obviously, yesterday we had a few, I think a full programme of games, barring the Oval. We'll start off with Tom and George here. Notts County 0, Torquay 0. Game from your perspective, lads.
I mean, for a 0-0 was actually a really good game. I mean, the result doesn't tell the story. I mean, it was sort of both teams at it from the first whistle. Probably the first half, Notts probably just edged it first half, but we gave them a good game. I mean, second half, we came out, probably dominated the first 20 minutes. We had one chance that was near enough a tap-in. Josh Amira, who we've spoke about in the past, who me and George don't think is good enough, sort of managed to clear a tap-in, which is baffling. And then at the end of the game, I think it was Wootton, or I might be wrong, Wootton, near enough had another sort of half tap-in to win it for Notts. So I think it was anyone's game. But it was good quality football. You could tell two teams are going for promotion. It was just a really enjoyable game. George, what do you want to
I agree. I reckon the first half they just about edged it. End-to-end football, really. Second half we come out, probably the better side for about 20-25 minutes. We just treated like we both could have like snapped the game.
I think it was more of a really good defensive performance from both teams. Like we didn't really let them have too many shots. Same for them.
I thought the pitch, considering who they are, I thought the pitch was wasn't the best, but that's expected like of the weather yesterday. That it was snowing, but like you could tell, like all the players kept slipping over in the box. We were pretty poor in front of the final third. So it's over there to be honest.
But we can't complain about the result.
I'd say the points definitely.
I think we'll be happy with the point on them. They needed to win that really if they wanted to.
Definitely,
make a title charge. But I think for us, good result.
And also another game which helped Torquay at the top of the table was Weymouth 1, Hartlepool 0. Obviously a big shock there, but not bottom, but as good as bottom versus second in the league. Anyone got any comments to add on that? Will?
Well, I think it would explain why both the Hartlepool fans aren't here today. Anyway, Kings Lynn had quite an eventful game yesterday, didn't they?
Ooh.
Well,
wait.
Josh?
Yeah, so just before we go into Kings Lynn, I just want to ask a question about Weymouth. With that win, do you think it could be a turning point for them?
Oh, definitely. It'll give the lads a world of confidence over Weymouth. Yeah, definitely.
I personally believe their signings will keep them up. The signings they signed yesterday.
Yeah, they're good signings, I must say.
They're decent signings. They stay up, in my opinion. Kings Lynn go down. Sorry.
Yeah, Alex?
I was just I don't think Weymouth are that bad of a side. I think, the league table obviously shows that they didn't get the results they needed. But when I watched them against Wealdstone, they actually wasn't that bad of a team. I mean, they started off very well. They have a good striker. They wasn't that bad. We only scored 2 against them. But they could get a little run going on, and probably probably stay up.
What's
Fair enough.
everyone's thoughts on Barnet? Like, it's not looking very good for them, is it? Losing to
Yeah,
Altrincham at home.
They're doomed.
I think, yeah, it's Barnet down now. They're 8 points off of Yeovil in 20th. And they're actually only
and Kings Lynn are going down. Sorry, not sorry.
Anyway, on the note of Kings Lynn, as Will said earlier, it was quite an eventful game, wasn't it, Dan?
Oh, exactly. Just before I get started, I just want to say to anyone that hasn't played Dagenham away this year, buy the stream 110%. That was one of the best best commentary I've heard all season. It was just brilliant. Moving on to the game anyway. Actually, it was actually a very good game of football. Dagenham should have been 3 or 4-0 up by half time. Kawamia stealing the ball at the halfway line and then just poking it and made it 1-0. Obviously, he went off injured 4 minutes later. And then Dagenham just seemed to dominate again. And then in injury time, all it took was a little tapping from Michael Gash and 2-0. So obviously, as you could probably imagine, I was quite happy at half time, thinking 3 points in the bag. Not quite the story though, was it? Yeah, we were 2-0 up until 72nd minute, and then Dagenham were just bringing all the pressure on they could. And fair play to them, it showed a never say die attitude. And I can't say much different than that. They deserved it. We just sat back all second half. 6-1. These things happen in football.
I think on the Dagenham perspective, that win probably saved McMahon's job. I don't know if anyone else agrees. I think if they lost that, it would have been gone, I reckon.
Agreed, yeah.
Under a lot of pressure.
The fans weren't happy with him the game
My honest
previous.
opinion, I still get rid of him. Like, you beat Kings Lynn, they're not really that good, but a win's a win. I feel like
Yeah, on
this
paper,
could either
Dagenham's
turn
team.
their season over, turn it around, or they'll just still be bad again.
Yeah, because on paper, Dagenham's teams easily playoff quality. I think if they get the right manager, they could easily challenge up there. You've got like McCallum, Balanta, those sort of players are really good for this level. Just depends if McMahon's a man to sort of get them to that next level.
On that subject of McCallum, I've been hearing that he hasn't been doing that well recently, and you get the feeling that they've paid so much for a player and wages and all that, and they're not catering to what he needs. He's very much a system player. Like, the whole thing is based around him getting the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And when he hasn't got the service, he's going to be a bit anonymous. Like, again at Solihull, he wasn't any good because he didn't have the service. The whole team wasn't based around him. It didn't suit him, which is why he went to Barnet in the first place. And if Dagenham want to get anywhere near those playoffs, they have to fix that, and they have to make sure McCallum gets his 20 goals a season.
Yeah, that's how they got their goal against us. It was like a really good ball in, but I think it was McQueen. Really good service. McCallum just popped it in the net because we all know he's really good aerially and easily could get 20 goals.
Anyway, while we're on the subject of Dagenham players, I don't know if any of you guys have seen Mitch Brundle's tweets last night going into today.
Yeah.
Professional or not good enough for a player?
I just genuinely believe that is, as a fan in a club who, when you go to games, you're officially paying the wages, you're helping put money into the budget. How can you go there and how can you go on Twitter and mug off your own fans?
It's disrespectful.
They're giving you stick when you're having a bad game. You don't go and laugh in your face when you score one goal. It's muggy. It's disrespectful.
I must admit, I did find it very odd because if you score a 93rd minute winner, yeah, you've just missed a penalty, but you score from a corner. Surely a normal human being would put a normal celebratory tweet up, not just sitting there slagging off their own fans. It is beyond me anyway, Will.
Thing is, I don't understand it if they were doing any good, but they're low and mid-table for a team that were projected playoffs at the start of the season. It's just a bit unprofessional, isn't it? I mean, you're not performing well on the pitch, you suddenly score a goal and you think you're the Messiah. It's like, would he do it if they were in the relegation zone? Probably not. So what makes it any better that they're underachieving and he thinks he can mug off their fan base?
It's just gonna make like a more of a divide in fan than the player. Like it's gonna make him more hated. Like you're mugging off the people who watch you every week, put money into club. It actually infuriates me how someone can do that. Like, where's the respect at?
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to be playing next week, is he?
No.
You just got to take sort of criticism like that on the chin. I mean, it's just a tweet that someone's made, like a fan as well. I mean, you're entitled to their opinion. You shouldn't take it like that. I mean, he's professional.
As a football player, like you're always going to get stick from fans, aren't you?
Exactly.
It's part of the job.
Career, whoever who you are.
It is stupid. I mean, like Alex said, you get stick, you take it on the chin, you go again, you try and prove them wrong again next week. What's the point of biting on Twitter tremendously like that? Anyway, whilst we're on the subject of yesterday's games, I believe Will Woking had what one would say a pretty boring 0-0.
Well, if Tom and George are saying their 0-0 was actually quite a good game, this was the opposite. I mean, you know what you're getting from Maidenhead. You're getting hoofball. You're getting everyone behind the ball, trying to get the hold up play from the striker. And it's just, it was a game between two very good defences and two poor attacks. That's how I'd sum it up. Because neither had the quality to unlock either's defence. And to be honest, I'll have forgotten about this game by Tuesday.
Fair enough. That bad, was it?
I mean, it's not one that's going to live long in the memory.
And while we're on the subject of Woking, Tuesday night they played Bromley away in the trophy. 1-1 draw, 1 on penalties. Happy you progressed?
Much more exciting game, that one. We have a shocking record at Bromley. So to come away with there, I was thinking of penalties. You know, it's anyone's. Like, once you get to penalties against a team, a respectable team, it's like, oh, you've put your best in, now it's luck.
It's a lottery.
Exactly, but two big saves from Craig Ross, who I maintain as being one of the best in the league, and some really, really good penalties in there as well. But next up, Sutton away, so it's the trophy, so anything can happen. But
wait, you're not playing Tuesday?
No, we're playing Tuesday. We're playing Bromley away again. So
might as well just camp over there then.
I'm funding their stream, which I'm quite happy to do because it's actually very good. But
yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, Bromley just seem to be one of those teams where they have a really good spell of form and then a really bad one. So they're a bit too inconsistent for my liking to make playoffs.
George and Tom, also in the trophy. Bournemouth 0, Torquay 4.
First half was pretty meh. Second half, I just think we just got like second half. I'd say we just like ran away with it. We just got one goal and just didn't stop. It's
4-0
like,
was probably harsh on them. I don't think.
Definitely. Like they weren't bad. They weren't bad.
1-0 probably would have been fair, but yeah, they just couldn't handle it.
I would say we're Bournemouth's boogie team because they can't seem to beat us. Tishmanga never does well against us.
Went off the pitch in his second half.
I honestly feel like unless Wood replace what's he called? I forgot his name.
Shorber Thomas.
Yeah, they're not going to play off.
Team.
Like they don't even look. They have no creativity. They look a mess. If I'm being honest.
But yeah, we played really well that day. I think second half. It was sort of the win we needed into the Notts game, and I think that helps. It gave us that confidence. Obviously, we don't know if the trophy's going to keep going, but I wouldn't mind a little run in the trophy. I think we can. I think we've drawn Southport away next. Be a decent tie if it does get played.
And also, just one more game on Tuesday I want to mention before I just quickly note about Kings Lynn. Did anyone see the Leamington Kettering game?
If I,
Mental.
whew,
Went
that,
viral, didn't it?
that makes Brundle look very decent.
I don't
Who was
quite
it?
know what happened there.
Does anyone want to just briefly explain to anyone that maybe wasn't aware of it?
Well, basically, their captain. I mean, I watched the. Well, say hit him. I wouldn't say he really hit him, did he?
It wasn't a hit. Really.
No.
Yeah, he kind of just shoved him a bit, and then so he got sent off, and he went crying and throwing his toys out the pram, and then he started smashing up the Leamington changing room. So he obviously didn't wake up on the right side of the bed. And then all the lights went out, didn't it? And I was waiting for about 20 minutes, and so
I think the game got underway at 11:15.
So the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, going back to what you said, I know it wasn't exactly like a hit, but I believe that as soon as you lay hands on the referee, whether it's a punch, a shove, or anything, you have to go, don't you?
But what's worse about that situation? He's their captain. Like, you should be setting an example. People like the other players look up to you. Like that. Like, you're the captain. You're doing that. You're like a mock. Like, to me, you're just mocking the badge because you're like you got your armband on. Will.
For me, the funniest thing was that their captain's an electrician, and the lights went out in the ground, and you're just sort of getting conspiracy theories that maybe he's just tinkered with the lights to get the game off. It's just strange how things work.
It was a very odd game, to say the least. Looking at Leamington's Twitter feed, very, very different. Unique, I think I'll say.
Yeah, shout out Max.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, massive shout out to Max.
Max, Leamington admin, probably fell asleep during the delay. If he did, I don't blame him.
Soldiering through the night.
But yeah, but also, I believe that was a bit of an odd game for football because although it was at Leamington, Kettering were the home team, weren't they? So
Yeah, it was switched from Kettering, wasn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, Tom.
Yeah, just, we've missed out a 7-goal thriller, which I believe Alex watched,
Yes.
which he was a bit frustrated by.
I forgot Alex was in here.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, Alex.
What's your thoughts on that defeat, Alex?
Yeah, it just is what it is. I mean, so we always, typical Willstone start off slow, went 1-0 down, just blind defending, and then we managed to get back into it with a 15-minute, 20-minute spell when we were actually really on top. We should have scored maybe 3, maybe 4, and then it's just I don't get how you can go from being all on top and then I don't know, maybe it's our defense is just terrible, but then we conceded 2 before half time, and so we went 3-2 down, and it was just unbelievable, like the defending, and then that I think that 15-minute spell was the only time we actually played well in the whole game. That second half was just boring. Even my granddad fell asleep during it. It was terrible until they scored their 4th, which was terrible defending again. And it's just, yeah, it seems to be defending every week now. It's just terrible. Like, I don't get how people can be so bad at defending. I mean, literally at one point for one of their goals, the ball's come in from a corner, front post has missed it, goalkeeper's missed it, and you can literally see their faces turn around and look at the ball go past them, and he's just tapped it in the back post. We got it back to 4-3 at the end, but it wasn't good enough, and we wasn't even on top after that goal either. And so yeah, very disappointing. We got Alty away on Tuesday. Dean Brennan wasn't happy after the game either. I mean, he had a bit of a pick at the board because he got a question asked about if we good to go full time and what was the problems, and he was like, "Oh, obviously defensively we're very poor," and he was saying, "Oh, it's up to the board, and just little comments, and so I don't think he's very happy. So, yeah, it would be a massive game.
And also, Alex, looking back to Monday, you played Gloucester, was it, at home in a trophy?
Yeah.
Big 3-1 win. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, watched all that. That was a good performance. I have to say, Gloucester were actually a very good side, and I think they'll probably go up. They started the game on the front foot, and they could have got a goal, but we managed to stay strong. We had Josh Meekins coming in, and he's just excellent. Our best defender by far. We definitely needed that help at the back, and he had a great debut. He actually won 2 penalties from centre back. So, I mean, some could say that we got a bit lucky with the 2 penalties. Special mention to Gloucester's goal. He's, I think their centre half or something. He's taken it from the halfway line. He's literally hit it from, I'm not even joking, about 45, maybe 40 yards. And it's just screamed into the top corner. But yeah, no, it's a good game. It was a good game. So hopefully we can get a little trophy run as we're not doing too good in the league.
Well, I just want to mention on my part, Tuesday night, Kingsland beat Eastleigh 1-0 at Eastleigh. Very good game in which our keeper literally almost scored. Booted the ball. I was just reading on my phone that the Newport keeper scored, and I looked up at the TV. Archie Mayer booted the ball, and it nearly carried him, but it hit the bar and went over. Penalty decision, Kawamia, 50-50, I think. Part of me thought that was a foul to Eastleigh, but we got given a penalty and we converted and held on. So that's all I want to say. Anyone else got anything to add? Anyone seen the penalty incident or anything? Fair enough.
Anyone saw that? No.
But yeah, Archie Mayer nearly scoring would have been massive for Lynn, because it's just something you don't see every day, and then nearly 2 in one night. But anyway, moving on. Anyone got anything else to mention about the games?
Yesterday, I know it could be a big talking part in the comments. I would say both Torquay and Notts should have been down to 10 men. One of Notts' players got like a broken nose because Josh O'Mara
We definitely should have.
Josh O'Mara kicked him in the nose. The ref didn't see it.
Headbutted him as well.
Headbutted him. How was he stayed on the pitch? I don't know. We're very lucky, but I would say, I can't remember who it was. One of their players stood on one of our players, Randall. Both of those teams, both of our teams should be down to 10 men. We're lucky both to have 11 men. I know that's going to get brought up, so that's just my opinion.
And also, I didn't see the incident, but I'm just reading here, Luke Molyneux got sent off for Hartlepool yesterday. So I think that could be a loss, somewhat half big loss for them for next game.
He didn't start yesterday, did he? He came on and he got sent off.
Oh yeah, of course he came on as a sub. Yeah, he came off in the 60th. Came on in the 60th minute and got sent off in the 69th. So a little cameo by him. Anyway, moving on. Will Woking signed Moussa Diarra. Obviously, by the sounds of you, that sounds like a very big deal. Your thoughts?
Class line, in my opinion.
He was class last season. He was one of the best centre backs in the league, and he just allows our fullbacks as well. He allows them to get up the pitch. He's very good at what he does. He's very composed, and he should never have been playing Conference South.
And also reading here, Weymouth made 2 signings yesterday just before the game. The first one I'm going to massively butcher here. Jean-Luca.
Joe Luca, I think it is.
UK, I think it's Luke Kaiser, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been able to pronounce names.
Those 2 signings to me are unreal.
Andrew Dallas. Big signings for them.
Unreal.
UK,
I reckon they'll stay up.
He's very good signing. He's been classed for Maidstone in the brief spell he's had there, and he's obviously played at Dagenham as well before. So I think that's a really good signing.
Will?
I've always rated him. I remember Woking played Concord and he ran the show. He's got a great left foot on him and a great right foot. He's a very tricky little player, and he's gathered a bit of confidence after being released by Dagenham. And now I reckon he's in a good position to kick on with Weymouth. The only question for Weymouth is, can they make up that 8-point deficit that they've got at the moment?
Well, I think by the time Yeovil win their next match, it'll end up being a 9-point deficit anyway. But to Kings Lynn, that won't be much for them. They could easily make that back up easy.
Yeah, but Yeovil have 2 games in hand over Weymouth, so.
Do they? That's big then. Oh yeah, I suppose they have, because they've lost their past couple of games, haven't they?
And Barnet have 2 games in hand over Weymouth as well, so if they win their games in hand, they'll go above Weymouth.
Kings Lynn have a game in hand over Weymouth, so I'll take that.
Should we talk about Tuesday night's games? Have you done
Yeah,
that?
I want to ask you and Tom. Obviously, you've got Sutton, which is probably the game of the day, undoubtedly in the league. Are you both confident going into the game?
Depends. That's why my family disagree with me here. I wanted Josh Romero to get sent off yesterday, get injured, because I got a feeling he will start on Tuesday, and if he starts, we're not going to score a goal because he's just tragic.
He doesn't deserve a start after. I mean, not the way he played, just
He doesn't
stupid
deserve to
things he
be
did,
in
obviously the headbutt.
match day
There's
squad.
We've got Rob Street sitting on the bench. We haven't seen him play yet.
The
He's a
question
young
we
lad.
can say is, he's 18. Do we start him now? Is he ready? Do you throw him and get started?
Yeah, but we wouldn't have got him on loan, and Crystal Palace wouldn't have sent him to us if he wasn't ready.
Yeah, he's not played a minute yet. That's a worry for me.
He hasn't been given the chance yet. I think if we gave him a chance, he'd do a lot more than Amira. But
the way I
onto the game
is, I reckon Gary's seen him in training and he's not as very good as expected. I hope I'm wrong here, but it's starting to question because he's been in 3 games, he's not played any.
Yeah, but onto the game, I think Sutton, I'm not going into it overly confident because got to give Sutton their respects. They're beating teams every week. I mean, beating Eastleigh 3-0. They've got players on form. It's not going to be an easy game, but obviously if we play our game, I'm confident we would win, but I'm not saying it's going to be easy at all, no. But
I think we have to win because if Sutton beat us and they win all their games in hand, they go above us.
Can't lose, no way we can lose.
I was going to say this is a must-win for Torquay because Sutton, by the time that game's played, we'll have 16 games, you'll have 19, and it could be anything between 12 and 6 points difference.
Exactly. Plus Sutton will see it as a massive opportunity for them. It's probably their biggest game of the season so far, so we're under no illusions. We've got to be 100% at it. Otherwise, we'll probably lose the game. So
it's just the lineup's got to be huge for me. Like, if we win this game, I'll say it now. I said it last week, I'll say it again. We win tomorrow. No, we win Tuesday. On my birthday, we win the league. That's a fact. We win the league.
I agree.
Tuesday,
if the season continues and we win Tuesday,
Tom, no,
I believe
if the season is continuing, we are winning the league. We're going to EFL.
When it continues, we will win the league if we win
When
Tuesday.
it continues, it already is continuing. So only a matter of time the goals are winning the league.
Is there any other big games? Anyone's?
Well,
there's
coming up
down the bottom. Sorry, down the bottom, he's got Dover against Barnet, which is 6-pointer down the bottom there. Don't know if it'll be.
Or would be Chesterfield a good game as well.
Yeah,
Solihull, Notts County.
I just want to bring up the last 3 teams that are supported by people who are talking today. Will, Bromley and Woking, what do you think will happen?
Well, it's an interesting one because Bromley will want revenge for last Tuesday, and we haven't won since the middle of December in the league. In fact, we haven't even scored since the middle of December in the league. So, first of all, scoring, and then there's winning. But they had a bad result yesterday at home to Halifax. It's a game which, if they're serious about going into the promotion places, they want to be getting a result out of. So, I don't know. There's going to be changes from yesterday, especially in the attacking front. I'm excited to see Diarra make his debut, or second debut.
Will he start with Gannon?
He'll probably start three at the back.
Yeah,
with,
to be fair, you always do. Last season, you always played 3 at the back. Whenever you had them 2.
We played Cook, Gehring, and Diarra 3 at the back, and then we played Lofthouse and Casey as the wing backs, which I think could work, and then 2 up top, which is what we need because 1 up top's not doing it at the moment. It's not cutting it.
Tom?
Yeah, just onto a team that we haven't really spoke about. But I think Chesterfield, they've obviously gone on this unbelievable run under their new manager. What's everyone's thoughts about how they've been doing recently? Obviously, they've stuck into that top half of the table now.
In my opinion, I feel like when they lose, they'll start to lose tight. Like they'll keep losing. I feel like they're in a honeymoon period right now. But like they're a good side, but I just don't think they can keep up. I just feel like I don't know. I just can't see it. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be proved wrong and they'll do good for the rest of the season. But I don't know. What's your thoughts, Will?
I agree with you, to be honest. They brought in loads of players who are full of confidence, and that confidence hasn't gone yet. They haven't had that result that's going to stop it. The manager's flying along, they're buzzing, but when something needs to be changed, you just wonder: is the manager going to stick with what he knows, or when they come up against a top team who will give them a game, maybe nick a goal or something? What's that going to do for your confidence?
Oi lads, I'll call it here now. Boreham Wood will beat Chesterfield on Tuesday night.
Nah, I don't think they will.
I genuinely
Tricky
can't
to
see it
call.
happening.
They're still reeling off the loss of Thomas.
Yeah,
Since
that's
since then they haven't really got a result, a win, I think.
But
Are we expecting
Sante
them to
was
sign anyone?
Just looking here, Chesterfield have won 5 in their last 7 league games, drawing 1 and losing 1. They've conceded 4 goals in 7 games. That's got to be
wow, didn't
pretty
realise that.
decent for them.
Yeah, because before that they had a really leaky defence. So he's done well to sort of not concede as many goals. I mean, I think. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything to add? I think.
Just while we're on the topic of Tuesday night's games, Alex, Altrincham, Wealdstone, what do you think is going to happen there?
How big is Altringham's pitch? Anyone's played there?
I couldn't
That's
tell
a
you
good
for the life
question.
of me.
Has anyone played there yet?
We weren't meant to play there twice, but it got
Called
called
off.
off both times.
Because I feel like Wilson's pitch is obviously tiny, and we played down the wings, and I just feel and we've got pretty much our main team back now, and so if we can give our wingers that space, and we have that space to like pass the ball around and play it over the top, and play it to the wings. And especially with our defence, Josh Meekins, he's used to playing on an actual good pitch and not a Sunday League pitch like Wealdstone. I think we could get a result. I think we could. I don't think we would have had any training sessions since the game. So maybe that Aldershot game was our training session. But I reckon 3-4-1 to Wealdstone.
Well, looking here,
maybe.
Altringham's form hasn't been very good over the last 5 games. 6 points, and an even goal difference.
Yeah. Well, we have beaten them. We beat them 1-0 at the Vale. So hopefully we can get a win.
Fair enough. And there's one game I just want to quickly mention. Kings Lynn versus Stockport on Tuesday night. God, I'm not looking forward to that one. I think that's going to be a 4 or 5-0 to Stockport, that game. I don't know if any of you lads want to add anything else.
Well, I mean, considering we've got the Kings Lynn owner coming in tomorrow, if he hears something like that, not much faith in your team, is there? I mean, as good as Stockport are, they're sort of going through a rough patch, and there's no manager. It's a ground they haven't visited before. That's the leveler. I reckon.
I think Kings Lynn 2-1.
I reckon 1-1 draw.
I get what you're saying about faith.
I'll say it now. Kings Lynn are going down, so they're going to lose.
I get what you say about faith, Will, and everything. It's just realism. If you told me this time last year we'd be playing teams like Hartlepool, Stockport, Notts, Torquay week in, week out, I would have just told you were dreaming. And It's we've got to be real here. I I like to see Lynn win. Don't get me wrong. I want us to win every game we can, but I can't see it being anything less than 4 or 5-0. And that's my honest opinion. But if we can win, then I'll take it. Need to perform better than we did yesterday. Anyway, anyone else got anything to add on the games?
Who's everyone got on Saturday?
Who's everyone got on Saturday?
Yeah, we got Barnet.
Yeah, we could do
We
Kings
have
Lynn
to.
a favour there.
I feel like. I reckon we'll get. We have to get 6 points. I reckon we'll get 6 points out of the next 2 games. Like I can see us winning both.
Saturday we have got.
We've got Solihull away, so I don't know about that. That's going to be quite a dodgy one.
Wrexham on Saturday.
Are Solihull still
Yeah.
up there in the league? They are, aren't they?
To me, Solihull aren't even that good anymore, in my opinion. I feel like they're average. Solihull are 7th. I'll take that back. Okay then.
Yeah, I was going to say they have.
Yeah,
been,
but they beat Dover. Nothing special.
Yeah, they beat Dover.
Woking, Stockport, Will? What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, apparently they're going to have their new manager in charge by then, but I can't really give a view of it until we play Tuesday because there's no way we're going to go through the next 2 games without scoring it with 2 0-0 draws. I mean, even if it is, we'll just have to throw everyone forward and hope for the opposition score or something to kickstart the game because at the moment, I mean, Stockport will be interesting to see if they've got their new manager in by that time. If they haven't, then it depends on how they play against Lynn, to be honest. But the league might be suspended then. I mean, I know some people don't want to hear that, but it's the honest truth.
Shut up.
Well, we got to look to a rule of it as well, haven't we? Anyway, here's a game that could be worth talking about. If both teams win on Tuesday night, Hartlepool at home to Sutton. That could be a big game talking point there, in my opinion, because I believe Hartlepool are 3rd on 30 points and Sutton are 2nd on 30 points.
Hartlepool would probably need to win that if they want to keep their title chances going.
Definitely. And then we've also got Weymouth, I believe, are at home to Notts County. Can you see another Weymouth shock coming up?
Against Notts, not for me, no.
Nah, Notts a good side though. I reckon they'll probably maybe put Weymouth back to reality, but I think Weymouth still somehow stay up. I reckon they'll do a great escape, but I feel like Notts will be too good for them.
The way you're going on at the moment, George, it's almost as if you want Kingsland to go down. And anyway, last game I'm going to mention myself, obviously will be Kingsland Wrexham. Wrexham lost 2-1 yesterday to Chesterfield, sitting 12th in the league. I think we can win that. I think that's very winnable for Lynn. Don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but I think that is a very winnable match for Lynn.
Wrexham a bit inconsistent, really, aren't they?
They're not a brilliant team this year, no.
They're definitely anything special, no. So that's definitely winnable for Lynn, I think.
I think their honeymoon period from Ryan Reynolds is up now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyway, sorry, you continue, Josh.
No, go on, don't worry, mate. Go on.
All right, guys. I believe that's all we've got time for this evening. Any further quick points before we go off?
The goals are going up. Many thanks. Goodbye.
The Lynn are going to be in the playoffs this year. All right, then. On a serious note now, once again, just want to extend my thanks to Luke and Josh for working behind the scenes to get this all set up and everything. With the recording, the editing and uploading. And just to all the lads for once again coming on, and most importantly, all the support we're getting on the YouTube channels and everything. It genuinely means the world to us, and we really do hope you keep on enjoying this. and I'm speaking on behalf of all the lads. Thank you all very much for listening if you made it this far. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Goodbye.